School campuses thrive on ghost stories, especially in Hong Kong, where orientation in August falls dangerously close to Ghost Month. But one legend stands above the rest: the Braided Girl at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Whispered from one class to the next, her tale embedded itself into campus lore, turning ordinary hallways and dimly lit paths into something far more unsettling. Are you ready to confront her? Well, let's begin. The Braided Girl haunts the campus of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, a spectral reminder of a love story that ended in horror. On restless, wind-whipped nights, she lingers in the wooded lane near the remnants of the old railway line, shrouded in darkness, waiting. Male students who pass through feel an unnatural chill before they see her. A figure emerging from the shadows, her face a mutilated ruin, her braids swaying in an invisible breeze. She died trying to escape. She and her lover fled the mainland, boarding a train bound for Hong Kong, desperate to outrun the barriers that could keep them apart. But fear of discovery forced a reckless choice. Before reaching Kowloon, they decided to jump. One final kiss, then she leaped first. In that very instant, fate turned cruel. The wind caught her hair, whipping it into the train's closing door. One braid snagged, held fast. Her body plunged, but her face did not follow. The train tore it from her, leaving her broken on the ground, her love story twisted into a ghost story, one that refuses to fade. Even now, male students walking that lonely path behind the CUHK canteen, known as the Single Braid Road, report seeing her. A girl with long, perfect braids stands with her back to them, motionless. But when they step closer, drawn in by something they can't explain, she turns. She has no face. The Braided Girl isn't just a ghost. She's the legend that defines Hong Kong's most haunted university. Researchers found that 98% of students know her story, many hearing it long before they set foot on the campus. Some say their secondary school teachers, former students themselves, passed it down like a warning. A story that lingers just like she does. The Braided Girl is not alone. She walks among countless others, spirits bound to the Chinese University of Hong Kong, each with a tale shaped by culture and caution. Joseph Bosco, an associate professor of anthropology, spent 9 years uncovering these stories. Over 100 ghostly encounters whispered across the campus. His research, soon to be published in the Journal of Popular Culture in the United States, reveals a chilling truth. These hauntings are more than superstition. They are warnings, morality tales passed down through generations. Every August, as orientation week begins, freshmen settle into their dormitories for 4 long nights, an experience unlike any other of Hong Kong's universities. In the thick summer heat, with the hillside campus of Sha Tin stretching into darkness, they whisper to each other, voices hushed but eager. For many, it's their first time sleeping away from home. And here, surrounded by shadows and unfamiliar sounds, they hear the stories. Stories older than the school itself. Stories that refuse to die. Joseph Bosco didn't set out to become a collector of ghost stories. When he arrived in Hong Kong from the United States a decade ago to teach religion and culture, he quickly noticed something. His students came alive when the topic turned to the supernatural. Dry lectures transformed into animated discussions the moment ghosts entered the conversation. Seeing their fascination, Bosco leaned in. He asked his students to share the eerie tales they had heard, noting every detail. What began as a way to keep lectures engaging soon became a deep dive into the haunted folklore of the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Bosco wasn't surprised by their obsession. He had spent time in Taiwan and knew how deeply ghost stories were woven into Chinese culture. But what intrigued him the most was how these stories revealed something more than fear. They spoke of history, morality, and the unshakable presence of the past. The whole problem with superstition is that it's different. My superstition may be someone else's religion, he says. Bosco doesn't believe in ghosts, but that isn't the point. I believe in them at the cultural level the same way I believe in Santa Claus. They are real as ideas, but not as a physical presence. No one knows if the Braided Girl ever lived, but her story may have roots in a real tragedy. About 40 years ago, a mainland migrant reportedly fell from a train near the university under similar circumstances. Her death, like so many others, might have gone unnoticed, ordinary, unremarkable, and the gruesome details of the legend almost certainly fiction. No one truly loses their hair and face that way. But in the world of ghost stories, truth does not matter. What lingers is the fear, the whispers, and the unshakable feeling on some nights that she is still there. A simple death of a refugee girl in the 50s or 60s wouldn't have made much in the newspaper, Bosco says. The important thing is the variations on the story. There are so many of them. Her face shifts with the telling. Some say it's nothing but a smooth, featureless oval, skin where eyes, a nose, and a mouth should be. Others whisper that long strands of hair spill over her face, hiding whatever horror lies beneath, just like the ghosts in old Chinese folklore. And then there's the version that unsettles even the bravest. A lone student walks past, heart pounding in the quiet. The girl sits in the shadows, running a comb through her long, dark braid. Her voice rises in a slow, hollow moan. "Give me back my braided hair." Whether this happened or not is not important, Bosco says. It becomes good to retell because of its symbolic meaning. In one version of the story, the lover hesitates. He watches as she leaps, but something goes terribly wrong. Her body falls, but her head jerks back unnaturally, the braid caught in the door. He sees the horror unfold in a split second, the train pulling him forward while she is left behind, broken and unrecognizable. Paralyzed by fear, he stays on the train. He crosses into Hong Kong alone, builds a new life, and finds work. But the past refuses to let go. Guilt gnaws at him until he can't ignore it any longer. He returns to the place where she fell, desperate to know what came of her. He then learns the truth. And maybe, just maybe, she is still waiting for him. That to me also underscores the actual meaning of the story. Here you have a girl who is not married traveling with a boyfriend. They are eloping together. Significantly, she loses her face. It's ripped off by the force of her jumping. The boy acts callously. He doesn't come to her. He gets a job first before coming back to see what happened, Bosco says. The Braided Girl is just one of the many ghosts said to haunt the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Another legend surrounds the Mong Man Wai building, home to the biochemistry department. Built against a steep hillside, the building relies on elevators to move students between lectures, research spaces, and libraries. But those who have studied there whisper that the place holds something far darker. The second floor, once a morgue, carries an unsettling energy, its past never quite forgotten. Among the many ghost stories tied to this building, the most chilling one involves its elevators. Students say the lift rarely stops at the second floor, as if avoiding it entirely. And when they pass by, something feels incredibly off. The dimly lit elevators, lined with mirrors that seem to stretch into infinity, grow eerily slow as they near the former morgue. Some describe it as a shift in gravity, a weight dragging them down. Others swear that they feel an unseen presence, lingering just beyond their reflection, watching, waiting. Professor Bosco remained undecided about ghosts. He neither confirmed nor denied their existence, but he acknowledged one undeniable truth: for most students, they feel very real. That was why many resisted viewing these tales through a cultural lens. The moment you dissect a ghost story, peeling away its layers like an academic exercise, the fear starts to fade. And without fear, the thrill vanishes as well. The shadows just become shadows. The whispers become the wind. And the ghosts, they slip away, taking the horror and the fun with them. Another ghost story lingers on campus, another love story turned nightmare. She had planned everything. At 10 p.m., she would meet her lover by the Lotus Pond and together they would run away. But the night stretched on and he never came. Alone and heartbroken, she stepped into the water, sinking beneath the surface, swallowed by despair. She never left. Students say her ghost still lingers by the pond, waiting, wandering, searching for the lover who betrayed her. Male students walking past at night sometimes hear a soft voice drift through the air. "What time is it?" If they answer 10 o'clock, cold wet fingers wrap around their wrist. The grip tightens, and before they could scream, the water pulls them under, dragging them into the same fate she had suffered all those years ago. It's true, the ghostly presence also lingers outside the university library. A young girl appears at night, swaying gently on a swing in the park. Her laughter rings through the quiet campus, soft but unsettling. A male student, always the last to leave the library, grew accustomed to seeing her. Night after night, he stopped to chat with her on his way home. She was friendly, almost too familiar, and he never thought to question why a child played alone so late. Then, one evening, his friends pieced together the details. His description of the girl, her face, her dress, matched someone from a tragic past. Years ago, a lecturer's daughter had died in a traffic accident. And there was one more thing. She had lost her little finger in the crash. The next night, curiosity gripped him. As he approached, he asked to see her hands. Without hesitation, she stretched one out. Her pinky was missing. Terror overtook him. He turned and ran, never daring to look back. And from that night on, the swing outside the library sat empty. A chilling thread ties these ghost stories together: the Braided Girl, the Lotus Pond Spirit, and the Little Finger Girl. And each one returns, seeking out lone male students in the dead of the night. Their stories, always told from the girl's perspective, carry an eerie warning, a lesson woven into the supernatural. These tales don't just scare, says Professor Bosco, they serve as cautionary messages. Whispers of the past reminding young people of the dangers that can befall them, especially the damage to a girl's reputation. But of all the ghost stories whispered across the campus, the tale of the couple in Bethlehem Hall carries the heaviest weight of symbolism. A boy and a girl, both students, lived in the same dormitory, her room directly above his. She often cooked oxtail soup for him, a quiet act of devotion. When exams began, they made a promise: no visits until the tests were over. But the soup never stopped. Each evening, she lowered a steaming bowl from her window, the string swaying in the night air until he pulled it inside. When the exams ended, the boy rushed upstairs to see her, but the room was empty. He learned the awful truth: she had taken her own life shortly after they had parted. The last bowls of soup had come from a ghost. Bosco believes they were lovers, their story frozen in time. And some say on certain nights, the scent of oxtail soup still lingers in Bethlehem Hall, a love that refuses to fade. Many of the ghost stories haunting the halls of the Chinese university center around a familiar struggle: romance versus academics. Some stories even stem from real events, though time distorts them into eerie legends. Take room 111 in Grace Teen Hall. In reality, a student actually took his own life there in 1990 due to some personal struggles. But in the years that followed, the whispers transformed the tragedy into one of the university's most famous ghost stories. According to campus lore, Room 111 housed not a troubled student, but a genius science major convinced that he had cracked the secret of time travel. He built a device, a web of wires connected to an alarm clock designed to launch him into another dimension when the alarm rang. The experiment failed. Instead of disappearing into the unknown, he died from a massive electric shock. His roommate found him lifeless on the bed, a note beside him that read, "I will come back soon." Despite the abundance of ghost stories haunting the Chinese university, true believers are in the minority. When researchers asked students whether they believed in the girl with the braided hair, only 34% said yes, while 59% dismissed it as fiction. But what exactly is your take? Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching.